Tuesday, 6:47 a.m. James is making coffee. He will not finish it. A driver ran a red light on Meridian Avenue at 7:23 a.m. James never saw it coming. He was 41 years old. He had been building something for 14 years, quietly, without telling anyone. And nobody, not his wife, not his daughter, Maya, not his bank, knew what to do next. What happened to his money over the next 11 months will change how you think about every dollar you have ever saved. James's wife, Sarah, sat down with a lawyer 3 weeks after the funeral. She brought every document she could find. Bank statements, account numbers, property deeds. The lawyer looked through everything slowly. Then he looked up and said 4 words Sarah was not prepared for. This is going to take a while. The brokerage account, James's largest account, had no beneficiary listed. He opened it 8 years ago and never filled in that field. Without a beneficiary, the account goes to something called probate. Probate is where the government decides what happens to your money. Sarah cannot touch it. Maya cannot touch it. Nobody can. The account is frozen. The rental property, James bought it 6 years ago. He was proud of it, never mentioned it at work, never talked about it at dinner parties. Just quietly collected the rent every month and let the equity build. The mortgage on that property is still due on the 1st of every month. The rent from the tenant is going into James's frozen account. Sarah cannot access it. Month 2, payment missed. Month 3, another notice. Month 5. A foreclosure notice arrives on the door of the property James spent 6 years building. Not because there was no money, because the money was locked in a frozen account and nobody could get to it in time to pay $514. The 401k James had named Sarah as beneficiary when he first opened it. That account moved quickly, 60 days. But the mortgage on their home was 2 months behind. There were no other accessible funds. Sarah cashed it out. The government took its share immediately. She received significantly less than what James had saved. She had no choice. 11 months after James made his last cup of coffee, the brokerage account was released from probate. Legal fees taken. Court fees taken. What remained went to Sarah. It was less than James had saved. Much less. She sat with the final number for a long time. She thought about the 14 years. She thought about the Tuesday mornings. She thought about the coffee that went cold on the counter. Here's what James should have done. Not complicated. Not expensive. 3 things that take less than 2 hours total. And the difference is everything Sarah received versus everything James built. Thing 1. Beneficiaries. Every financial account you own, brokerage, bank, retirement, has a beneficiary field. It is a box. You type a name. When you die, the money skips the government entirely and goes directly to that person. Days, not months. James had 1 account with a beneficiary. The rest went to an 11-month process that cost his family more than they will ever fully calculate. Open every financial account you own tonight. Check the beneficiary field. If it is empty, fill it. If your life has changed, update it. This single action protects more of what you have built than any investment decision you will ever make. Thing 2, a will. James had 1. He made it when Maya was born. He never updated it. The condo he bought at 34 was not in the will. The brokerage account he opened at 36 was not in it. An outdated will leaves the court to fill in the blanks. And courts fill in blanks slowly, expensively, and without knowing anything about what James actually wanted. A basic will costs $100 online. It takes 1 evening. If you have children, tonight, not next week, tonight, you name who raises them if something happens to both parents. Not a judge who has never met your family. You. A will gives that decision back to you. Thing 3. If you own property, a home, a rental, anything with a deed, there is something called a transfer on death deed. 1 page. Under $50 to file. When you die, the property transfers directly to whoever you named. No court, no probate. No foreclosure notice because a frozen account could not make a $500 payment. James's rental property went to foreclosure proceedings because nobody could make 5 payments while the account was frozen. A transfer on death deed would have given Sarah the property in days. She would have used the tenant's rent to make the payment the first month. 6 years of equity would have survived. It did not. 4 months after James died, a letter arrived from a life insurance company. James had taken out a policy when Maya was born. He named Sarah as beneficiary. The company processed the claim in 21 days. No court, no probate, no lawyer fees. Because James checked one box 8 years ago while Maya slept in the next room and never had to think about it again. Tonight is Tuesday. You have 20 minutes. James did not get another Tuesday. You have one right now. 3 things. Beneficiaries, a will, a transfer on death deed if you own property. 2 hours. Under $350 for all of it. The difference between what you built reaching your family and what you built reaching a courthouse. If this hit somewhere real, subscribe. This channel takes the financial decisions most people avoid because they feel uncomfortable and walks through exactly what happens when you do not make them. Banks, credit cards. Now this, next week, how taxes take from you at every level of income, button is below. It is free. And in the comments, did you check your beneficiaries after watching this? Yes or no? That is the only question. Because if your answer is yes, send this to one person you know who needs to hear it, not for views. James had people in his life who needed this. They never got it.